We are the bold who change the world. We have bold characters. We have bold Savorites who go beyond the measures of what is proven to be possible. And so you have seen the life of Savo. The last 8 years, we have shaken the world of real estate. We have gone into the market and just, made what seemed impossible possible. We have brought affordable investments here in Kenya. From as little as 30,000 a month, you can actually own an apartment within Nairobi. Who thought that could be possible? I mean, growing up, we all knew real estate ni ya wale wa juu. Sisi tunajenga ka home ownership. And so we have made that possible. We have shown you that lifestyle can be a different perspective, that you're just not letting into our apartments, but you're getting into a community where you will become something great. And of course, when we start this journey of being great and being bold who change the world, we want you to be part of it. As we celebrate these 8 years of existence, we want you to be part of it. We want you to shake the boundaries and actually make things greater by being bold and be the bold who change the world. I am Martha Inyuma, and we are the bold who change the world.
Owning your first apartment in Nairobi has never been easier. It's simple. With zero deposit and 0% interest rate, you can pay as little as 30,000 per month for up to 5 years. Just divide the price by the number of months you want to pay. Visit www.savo.ke to learn more.
When we started this business model, we naturally were a bit shy to get into town. So we started building our buildings in areas that were off. Our first project was in Rongai, Mbakasi, Thindigwa. But as we did a bit more, we gained a little more confidence. And I think in 2020, we came close and went to Ngong Road, Wabanye Road. That was the closest to any major center. And when our investors and residents saw that we could, come near, they began to demand a little more. You see, at the beginning, we were being compared with other developments. But as time went by, our residents started comparing us with our previous projects. So people are becoming a bit more discerning. They're asking for more, and they're asking for better locations. Now, we divided Nairobi into two zones, Zone A and Zone B. So Zone A is where we have most of our projects, in the periphery of the city. That is Zone A, because that's where most of our work is. Zone B is right at the center, CBD, Parklands, Westlands, Nairobi West, that kind of thing. And for about 2-3 years now, I've been really resisting going into Zone B, asking myself, is the land price worth it? Is the more demanding city bylaws, are they worth it? But I think getting feedback from our investors, getting feedback from residents and future residents, studying the trends of those areas, showed us that it was. And now 8 years later, interesting that for 8 years, Savo City has never had a building in the city center. We have had buildings near the city, but never in the city. But it's an exciting time that as we celebrate 8 years, we are taking our first project right at the center of things. And this is Premier, Savo Premier. A wonderful, wonderful project. It's the closest to the center that we have ever had. It's in Parklands, right opposite the Nairobi University School of Law. Walking distance from town, walking distance from Westlands, surrounded by universities and working areas. I mean, it's by far the most superior location that we have ever had. And we think just that location alone answers the questions that people have been asking. Can we get better? Can Savo be more refined? There's something I always like to post that affordable doesn't mean cheap. You know, why just because it's affordable doesn't mean that it has to be so far away. And we have put up this building. The location is first class. The design is something else. I think of all our buildings, it really, really stands out as very, very elegant. The tallest building by far, ground plus 17 floors, with a rooftop right at the top. So in terms of amenities and facilities and the design and the elegance and the location, these are things, and it's not for everyone. It's not every resident who will afford there. But there's some residents who just like to have their convenience. There are some Airbnb visitors who want to be right at the center. They don't want to get off. They want to feel like I'm in the hotel next door. There are students who, instead of staying in a hostel, want to stay in a place that is much better with better rents. So we have this thing that will cater for the working professional, it will cater for the student, it will cater for the short stay person. So very versatile in terms of function, very elegant in terms of design, super central in terms of location. And that's what makes Savo Premier so exciting. So we are really grateful to God for allowing us to do this thing. For us, only 8 years of existence and about 6.5 years of business model, to have the courage and confidence to go right at the center, to put up a big building in the center of the city, that for us is something that we are really grateful for. We did not, we had dreams at the beginning, obviously, but in all honesty, I did not have the imagination that would be right there with the big boys. And now we are playing in the bigger leagues. And we are so grateful to our investors because you have told us that's what you want. I remember when you did the Ngong Road, when you did Wanye Road, people were like, finally, a location I can relate with. You know, finally, a place I know. So Parklands, I think anybody has known Parklands from the time they were children, and you have always wanted. And you're saying, we will take affordable, super exclusive affordable into the center of the city. And that's what Premier is doing. And so I'm so excited to launch this project, Savo Premier, in this month of August of 2023, and we we are confident. We are really confident that it will sell well, it will sell fast, and more importantly, we believe it will let very, very fast, because by far we have had very good projects. We have had amazing projects, but this is by far our most exclusive and most amazing project. So thank you very much. We hope to see you there. We hope to see you joining the family. If you're part of the family, invest, refer, bring other people, and let's have a grow as we take you all towards financial independence. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, sorry for the technical hitch, but I'm glad we are live again. I'm very excited about this today. And just like I said, my name is Bilha. I am a fire partner at Savo, and I'm so glad that we are joining together just to get to learn and expound on issues that we need to learn about. So maybe introduce yourself.
Yeah, first I'll start by introducing myself. I go by the name Peris Wayanjiko Kairoki. I am a fire partner at Savo. So actually I believe in if something should start and end well, then it should start with prayer. So I'd like to invite Bilha to give us a word of prayer. So Bilha,
and you can join us. Actually, you can join us. Let us pray together. Lord Jesus, we thank you for this evening that you've given unto us, even as we start our webinar. We thank you, Lord God, that King of Glory, we know you do not allow anything to happen without a reason. And how we pray that as we start, you be with us, and as we come to the end of this, we shall be careful to give you the glory and honor. It is in Jesus' name we do pray, trusting and believing. Amen, amen. So, amen. Karibuni sana. Do not go far away. We are here, I think, for the next 30 minutes. We shall be growing, expanding, and just becoming better people, in terms of investment and actually getting to know more. And I think even when we were sending the reminders, you would just hear Stockdale paradox and you're wondering what's really happening. So Paris will help us to get to understand, like, what do we have for you today?
Yeah, before I get into the topic of today, so I'd like to remind you, we are trying to create a movement where we are the bold who change the world. So the only way that we can create this movement is not by only one people, not by two people, but by a lot of people. So one way you can help us as a Savorite is by sharing the link. Invite your friends, invite your family, or even your colleagues to join us today. They might even learn one thing or two that's important in investing. And I would like to introduce the topic. So Stockdale Paradox. That name sounds a bit difficult even to pronounce it. So I'd like to break it down to you. Stockdale Paradox talks about having that unwavering faith, that hope in the outcome, at the same time confronting the reality, confronting the brutal facts. So in the Stockdale Paradox, it comes from a book known as Good to Great. It's a really good book. It's written by Jim Collins. Actually, it talks about how companies move from good to great and what is the different things that these companies do. So there's a story behind it, and I would like Bilha to just explain this story so that we can all be aligned and we can actually understand what we are talking about today.
Yeah, and I guess you're also in the journey of moving from being a good person to a great person. So I think you tuning in is really important. So when you mentioned about Stockdale, who was Stockdale? He was an admiral working for the US Navy during the time where they had the Vietnamese War. And this man went into war. And apparently the plane was shot down. So while he was going down, actually he said that in his mind that he knew he'd stay there for the next 5 years in captivity. So he knew he was going through hell. So Stockdale was captured. He went through a lot of torture. It was horrendous because we're being told that he was being tied by chains on his legs, and they're metallic chains, and he was tortured both psychologically, physically. He went through a lot of torture, but this did not kill the hope for Stockdale that he knew eventually he's going to prevail. Eventually he's going to get out of that prison. So Stockdale was able to use even the knowledge and information he had acquired while he was in campus. I'm used to saying campus in university, but then, so he studied about the Stoicism. So he learned a lot, and he was able to apply the things that he had learned being a Stoic in prison to help him go through the season of captivity until when he came out after 8 years. And so we get to learn a lot that he was able to know, I want to get out, but I'm going through a lot right now. I'm going through a lot of pain. I cannot deny it, but I still have hope. So he had hope despite having to face the fact that he's going through a lot of pain in prison. So I think you might be asking yourself, okay, now you're talking about someone in prison. I am an investor. How does this help me? Am I in prison or something? Not really. You're not in captivity. But I think there's a lot that we can learn from this story of this great man. So there are many things I think you'd have. I think you already have questions right now. Like, how does that connect to my investment? I'm an investor in Royal Suburbs. How does Stockdale come on board? So how does Stockdale Paradox apply to you in terms of your long-term investment strategies? And I guess we can start by what are the various investment strategies that people put in place when they want to start the investment journey?
So one of them is commitment and discipline. So how does this connect to commitment and discipline? So yes, you have that hope, you have that faith that at the end of the day, nitafikisha financial independence, and I'll start to get that financial number that will help me finance my purpose. But then what is this that I'm supposed to face? What is this reality I'm supposed to face? Because at the moment, this reality is leading it to that outcome. So one of those realities that you need to face is you need to know your investment well. This is why you carry out your research. You assess your risk. By knowing your investment well, knowing this risk, you're able to own it up. You're able to stay committed. You're able to even to get that drive, that why behind, why am I investing? So once you have that, I feel like I believe that that is one way of confronting the reality by assessing the risk, and also just having that hope and faith that at the end of the day, nitafikisha my financial independence number. So So those are my thoughts. I'd actually like to get Bill has
So,
thought on
like
the
for
topic.
instance, when you're talking about knowing your investment,
Yeah.
I know most of the times when you're thinking about investment and you're doing your risk analysis, you look at the company you're investing in, you do your due diligence, and most of the times you feel like the other party who is your partner in this investment journey, he's most likely to be the one who will fail you.
Yeah.
Sometimes we think like, oh, what if they do not build? What if they? But sometimes I think even as you're looking at the investment strategies of you doing due diligence on the other person, you need to do due diligence on yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might be that problem that you need to deal with. So apart from you checking if the papers are ready, if Savo has the approvals,
Yeah.
ask yourself, do I have what it takes to go into this investment? And that is both psychologically, emotionally, let me just say emotionally and also financially. Am I built enough? And if I'm not, what need I do to make myself a better person in this investment? Because just like I said, most of the times it's so easy for me to look at you as my investment partner and how you're going to fail me. And I fail to look at what I am bringing on the table as a problem that needs to be faced. Yeah, so I think even as you're looking at your long-term investment strategies, you're thinking about investing in something that is going to eventually lead you to financial independence. In this case, we as Savo, we are providing with affordable, amazing apartments. And you've taken it as one of the strategies, investing in Savo. So what need I do? You said commitment and also starting early. Just start early. Seme kesho. Yeah, most of the times tunasema kesho, then kesho never comes. Yeah. So apart from time, commitment, and also doing due diligence on yourself, there are also other strategies, and I guess you've been applying some of the strategies of ensuring that your long-term investment is safe. You can drop the comment on the comment section or ask questions. We have a team that is ready to answer, right? And then also another question that we were having, can optimism be harmful when it comes to investing? And you talked about optimism. Maybe explain to us what optimism in this case means and how it can affect somebody's investment journey.
Optimism, it's nice to be optimistic, of course. It's nice to be positive. But at the same time, if you do not confront the reality of things, then that's just like having blind faith. You believe things are going to come out positively, yet you're not confronting the reality of things. Let's say probably you have invested in multiple units. So far it's going well. Then maybe you hit a hiccup, a financial hiccup, and then it lasts for a period of time. So that's the point whereby you're supposed even to confront that reality that, you know what, the money that I was getting to finance these 5 units, it's no longer there. So what do I need to do so that I can also just stay in this journey? Because pulling out is never the best option, because you're just giving up. But then we have already assessed this risk. You have seen that, you know what, the finances are not there. Once you confronted the reality of things that if finance may reduce, then I'll be able even to approach my fire partner and be, what do you think I should do? Should I scale down? Should I reduce it to 4 units, which I'm able to pay for right now? And then when things get better, I can take up a 5th unit. Or even the 4 units can actually even help you to finance the 5th unit by reinvesting your passive income. So that's what I think about optimism when it comes to investing. Optimism without confronting the brutal facts, the reality of things, then that's just leading by blind faith.
And I think Paris, it does happen. How many times do we go into something and you're like, me najua ita work. Like, it must work, ita work. But ita work, yes, but you're running away from easy issues ziko hapa saizi. You want to get here, but uko hapa saizi, and hapa ndio umesota. Here is where you don't have money. Here is where your job just Misha, right? Here is where you have a lot of school fees to pay and bills to sort out. And wewe unashinda tu ita work. What am I doing? So I think there is a need of me not having that blind faith. And I know utasema, bila unajua imani ni muhimu, but somebody said imani bila matendo ni bure. So I guess you having faith and actually working on your day to day to make sure that you get there. Because when you look at Stockdale, alikuwa anajua atatoka. He knew he's going to get out of captivity. But what was he doing during this time of captivity? He was not brooding. He was not wallowing in pessimism, but instead he was keeping himself strong. Holding on to the faith and making sure that he's psychologically in check. So I think let us not be so optimistic and we forget that we have a role, a responsibility to our goal. And even as we're talking right now, the main goal for you and me as investors is financial independence, getting to a point whereby you can passively cater for your needs, wants, and desires without actually sweating for it. You see? And if you want to get there, we cannot just sit. We cannot just sit and hope. Thinking greatness but not acting like greatness. It can't happen like that. And sometimes also, what are some of the realistic ways we need to approach risk in investments? You were talking about assessing risks, but kuna ways za kuweza approach risks. And I think first of all, we need to know what risks do we face as investors. Maybe I want to invest in a unit. What are the risks that I am facing as an investor? What did I look up towards so that I can work?
And also when you are talking about risks, something came to mind. Life itself is a risk. Unaweza kakua leo lakini kesho utakuwa. It's the nature of things. Okay. That's the reality. A lot of people don't like talking about the reality of things. You might not be there in the future. So how do you prepare for this? How do you plan your investments for this? So there's something known as estate planning, where even you can come up with a will, you have your next of kin, in case you're paying for this unit, and then maybe, let's say, you're no longer there to pay for that unit. So what happens? Because at the end of the day, we don't only want to enjoy financial independence only ourselves, we want to leave generational wealth. So how do we make this possible even when you meet such risks that you can't control? So once you come up with a will, once you do estate planning, you're able to plan ahead. That's a bit, when I think about it, it's part of confronting the reality of things. You might not be there, so what happens? But at the same time, you do have hope that you will be there to foresee this investment and even get to enjoy this financial independence.
You're thinking like, oh, Paris, I'm investing. And then you didn't remember that I might die. We don't talk about that. You might die. You might fall ill and you're no longer able to fund your investments because you can't work. That's something else that you need to confront, because there's some things that you cannot control, but you can do something about it right now, whereby actually, in case I'm not able to finance this project through my salary, how else can I do it? And when you get to that point whereby, okay, sawa basi, I'm not able to finance it. I've really lost my job. I'm really sick. I cannot finance my project. What else? This is where we Fire Partners come in. This is where Savo comes in. You can contact us. Actually, we are very open and very available to talk to our investors and be able to advise on the ways to get out of that predicament. So if you're in such a stalemate, you can come and ask, what else can be done? And I think you also mentioned about you downsizing from 5 units to 2 units, finish with the 2. Apart from that, what else can Savo do to help you avert such a risk? A risk like that is failure to pay. People call it defaulting, when you see someone is a defaulter, but that's not really the case.
And actually, Bilha, talking about your mambo ya downsizing, I'm trying to think what happens in case you lose your job. Let's say this job has been financing your investments. Hapo ndio umekuwa ukitoa this pesa ya kulipia investment, and maybe when you have a business, another business apart from your job. So what happens if you lose your job yako? I feel like once you have that short term, whereby you have prepared that in case I lose my job, this short term will finance my long-term investment until I'm okay enough to continue with this investment. That's one way you can prepare for the risks. Job, kuna na very high risk of losing. Unaweza poteza job.
Kama umeandika hujajiandika, mwenye kuandika anaweza kuchukua kazi yake. And also, I'm thinking about you when you're planning about that, when you're approaching the risk in an investment. I'm very, very loud about personal preparation. Yeah, you as a person, how well have you prepared yourself to approach such a situation? Because sometimes when you're talking about losing the job or losing an investment, there's a lot of mental distress that comes in. You become stressed, you become afraid, and if you have not built yourself like to have the tolerance to handle such things, because like right now when I'm getting into an investment, I'll ask myself, what if I'm not able to pay? That's another question people ask themselves. What if? I think we've interacted with many investors and they're like, what if nikwame? What if nishindo kulipa? What happens? You see, when you start thinking about the worst case scenarios, but being able to plan, counteract them. Okay, what if I'm not able to pay? What else can I do? So you facing that brutal fact and allowing yourself to think about such a difficult situation that I don't want to be in also kind of builds your tolerance levels. You ask yourself questions early enough to know what happens. And also you yourself, if you feel like you're in a point whereby you're going through a lot of stress, this investment should not deny you sleep. An investment should not deny you sleep. If it is denying you sleep, once again I'm saying, you're here as your fire partners, and we're doing our best to grow in terms of how we can work with you. I think that's the best point for you to ask for help. And actually asking for help and being vulnerable doesn't mean you're weak or you're giving up on your investment. It means you're committed to the journey. But actually when I'm okay, I'll be making my payments, but when I'm not, I'm able to call Savo. I'm able to call Paris, my fire partner, and we talk this out. You see? So asking for help, having that support system, and Savo is making that support system as well. We're not just here to sell to you, but we're here to walk with you through your journey as an investor. And I think even as we continue talking, there might be an investor. You're listening to us today, and you've gone through such a thing. You've invested, you went through a hurdle that hit you so hard, and how did you come out of it? You can still drop a comment, it can help someone. Remember, the reason why we invite people for the webinars is not just for you to hear from us, but actually someone can hear from you. Someone can get a question from you and learn something from that. And then also we were talking about, even as we're talking about Stockdale paradox, the way he was able to accept his situation and work around it. There's something about emotional intelligence that comes out of it. Maybe you can expound on that as well.
The bit about emotional intelligence. I feel it's connected to the bit of, first of all, knowing yourself. Ni unaweza handle how much. And also once you do a self-evaluation, I think from that point you can even know at what point do I ask for help. Because we do have, we have even, not even investors, even friends, wenye wanapitia a lot, but then since hawajijui vizuri or how they're not emotionally intelligent to know when to ask for help, unapata anaenda downhill, which is really, really, really sad. So you as an investor, you should actually do that self-evaluation and know when you need to ask for help. Kwa sababu, let's say umepata a financial crisis. Let's say there's an emergency where you require a big chunk of money. The first thing, haifai kuwa like let me pull out from this investment, wacha nipeleke hii pesa kwa emergency. But once you know yourself, then you're able to approach your fire partner in a way that I'm having this issue. So what do I do about it? Is pulling out a solution? No. But when you approach us, we're able to know your situation, we're able to come up with solutions, we're able even to give you ideas on how to sort out your issue. Because one of an idea I can think about is value innovation, whereby you can cut down on consumerism. Maybe you wanted to buy a pair of shoes for your birthday. It's nice to buy yourself gifts, but in case you encounter such a case, you unafaa kuwa unajijua enough to face the reality of things. This issue inafaa kusortiwa. How do I sort it out? Do I pull out? No. I can approach my fire partner na anaweza kunipea solution on how to handle it. And pia hata anaweza nipea further advice, because it's not only about investing. We are here to know our investors. So it's more even, it's personal at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, when I say talking about emotional intelligence, this, the way you ask yourself, okay, if you understand yourself well, you understand your emotions, you know when to ask for help, you know when you're strong, when you're weak, and then it also helps you to know when you should not use your emotions completely to start an investment. So for instance, you just had, Savo has launched Savo Premier. It's in Parklands. Wow. When I was young, I wanted to own an apartment in Parklands, and then mbio umeenda invest in Savo Premier. It's a good thing, or whichever location you've always wanted to invest in. And it is important that you don't just invest by the mere fact that I grew up in that area. Like, me grow your more, so I want to invest around further, you see. But it should be more than that. Apart from you loving the area, what else advises your decision of investing? Or my friends Akina Paris have really invested in Savo. They have so many apartments. I want to be a part of that team, to feel good, to have a sense of belonging. But you see, if you do not assess all the possibilities of what can go wrong, you might end up making a very terrible mistake, and then you'll hate investment in the long run, simply because we too many emotions. Okay. We are not trying to negate emotions or try to make emotions look less, because emotions are 100% important, just as logic is. But there is a need to strike a balance. And for you to be able to not make such emotionally clouded decisions, it is important to listen. It is important to listen. Yeah, just because working at Paris or me invest, I think I should call the company, I should do due diligence, and I should sit down and ask myself really hard questions. And some of them won't feel nice at all.
Yeah.
Paris, have you ever done such a thing before?
I've ever bought something because my friend bought it. And I didn't even really need it.
Now, where is it?
Hata sijui kwenye iko sahi. Because nilinunua because someone had bought it. So, of course, nitaipoteza.
When you say something, anyway, mimi napenda vitu specific, but it's okay ukisema something, I'll just take that. I really want to know what was that something.
Actually, it was a really, really cute key holder. It was really shiny. This penny vitu shiny. So sasa sijui kwenye iko. Nilinunua juu tu. Tulikuwa tunanunua.
Do you have a key?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I don't like shiny things. But anyway, actually Bill had mentioned in that we do have investors when you're investors, sisters. Who may invest, just sister who may invest. You didn't even get to know more about us. You didn't get to know about why Savo, why financial independence, what is it all about. I feel like once you invest because someone else invests, then you don't have that drive. You're not fully committed, you do not own this investment. Unapata hadi, yes uko na hope that tutakuwa rich pamoja. But then have you faced the reality of finances zangu zinanikubali kuinvest in maybe 2 units, 3 units as my sister? Because once ukianza kufikiria una invest because of someone else, this is inafikanga point whereby you even pull out because your sister has pulled out. Because you didn't really get to know your investment, which is really, really bad, kwa sababu even you are depriving yourself of this chance of seeing the outcome of these things. So I feel like you as a person, before even investing, even after investing, you should actually sit down, as you had mentioned earlier, sit down and ask yourself, investment ni kuhusu nini? What are the risks? Here are my finances. Here's the outcome that I want. Yeah, kona goals zake, so here are mine. Yeah, and then I think from there now it will give even clarity, and also it will give you that drive and commitment to stay in that investment. Yeah, and also speaking about all these things that we're talking about today, a question has just popped in my mind. How does this Stockdale paradox help you to retain in that investment?
for returning.
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, like, I have known my investment. I've done my risk assessment. I have done my financial planning. I have prepared myself psychologically. I have a support system of whom to go to consult. I think it will, you're asking how it's going to help me remain, stay invested.
Yeah.
So you see, if I am down, there is someone to encourage. There is a fire partner. If I am down, I have strategies of how to counteract some of the hurdles that might come my way.
Yeah.
If I've planned myself, okay, this is how I'm going to make my payment, and then if it doesn't, then I'm going to use this and this and this. If this doesn't work, I have this other approach of approaching Savo and getting to talk about it. So you even get committed because this investment becomes a part of you. So using the Stockdale paradox, it helps you to stay committed.
Yeah.
Remember, Stockdale is more about having hope, but also facing the tough realities. So that hope itself is the drive. It's what is helping me to hold on, to think hard. So I think Stockdale, it is something that you don't want not to apply in life. And some of us have been applying the Stockdale paradox without knowing we're actually applying the Stockdale paradox. So we're actually grateful to Jim Collins for being able to capture that about Stockdale himself. So I think using the Stockdale paradox will keep you committed. You'll have the drive. You'll know your way around this investment because it's something that you have accepted and you're ready to go for. Yeah.
And also, just listening to you, Bilha, talk about that. Once you do that self-evaluation, risk assessment about your investments, it tends to help you not feel like this investment is a burden. Because when you don't know something inside out, you usually feel like it's a burden.
And
let's say
you sleepless nights.
Yeah, let's say you have a friend who keeps asking you for money monthly. You don't know the reason why anakuitishanga hii pesa. Yeah, it's not you, Bilha. Definitely it's not you. Hatungekuwa tunaweza kukaa meza moja.
Thank you.
Anyway, you have this friend mwenye every month anakuitisha maybe even 1,000 bob, but you don't know the why behind. Of course, this is your friend. Kuna hiyo emotional connection. So at some point, yes, you want to help your friend, but itafika point it's a burden. But then when you get to understand this person, maybe it's a health issue where they require money monthly. Once you get to understand the why behind, haitafeel ka burden. Hata itakupea drive ya kusaidia huyo mtu. But then not knowing investment, not doing a risk assessment of your investment, enye inakutuma ujue your investment inside out, it will tend to feel like a burden. Yeah, and also just even connecting this to the book Good to Great, there is a point where he talks about in confronting the brutal facts, which is the reality, the good to great companies left themselves stronger and more resilient. So in case unapatana na hiccup, the first thought si ku give up. You already know utapatana na it might happen. You might lose your job. Pesa inaweza kosekana. You already know because you did that self-evaluation and risk assessment. So unakuwa more resilient. Unapitia hiyo bump, una shake it off. Pesa ijaingia, wacha tukatafute ingine.
Yeah, because even as you're talking about confronting the brutal facts, like you're investing in a unit in Savo, you've decided I want to start my fire journey. So you've already started, but there are some behavior that you have and you have to accept. You have to accept that you are terrible at managing your finances, if you are. And if you see you have to do that self-assessment, accept that you are poor at making decisions in terms of finances, you're indisciplined. You know, accepting doesn't mean condemning. Accepting doesn't mean that you're dismissing yourself. It is just being able to note the problem and then work towards it. So, okay, I want to invest, but I like spending. I'm into consumerism. When I see a new cloth I want to buy, new furniture, new that. Okay, I know that's my problem. Then I have to work towards it. And actually investing, it takes a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of sacrifice. It will mean me letting go the behavior that I have lived with, that I'm comfortable with. And you see, change is not something that easily comes. It faces a lot of resistance.
Yeah.
So I think, first of all, you know your vision. I want to have, let me say, when talking about your fire index, this is the amount of money I want to earn passively from my passive investments. This is my long-term goal. And what are these kind of behaviors that I need to put aside? What are these measures that I'm supposed to put in place to help me reach to that? But something you need to note, that even if I have a very beautiful dream, it won't happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
If it does, thank God. But it's going to take longer. Something you need to understand, it might take longer. They're going to be izo kupanda mlima na kushuka. Today I'm not able to pay, tomorrow I'm able to pay. Sometimes it's going to be flat, but that's a part of the journey. But despite that coming, you need to fix your eyes on that vision. This is where I'm going at. And in a car, motivational talk. But
Motivational talk.
it is a fact, because actually all of us have had plans and goals. And I think you can attest to that. But kuna tutabia zengine you have and you need to get rid of so that you fix your eyes on the long-term goal. Yeah.
And also that bit of self-evaluation. So let's say you need to first ask yourself, what's my financial independence number? Let's say it's 100,000. So yeah, nataka nikuwe na 100,000 in the future to finance my purpose. How do I get there? I need 9 to 10 studios to get me there. Unaangalia finances zako, business is doing well. I can actually afford an almost complete unit. Then why go for a zero deposit with a 60 months just to be comfortable? Hii pesa ingine utapeleka wapi? So if you are capable of taking an almost ready unit, a ready unit, you can start with that. And by the way, with this ready unit, actually itakusaidia kulipia your second unit. Na ukiendelea tu hivyo, reinvest in your passive income. Whenever you get good cash, unaweka that cash there, because already unajua niko at peak season. Actually una collect more when things are good. Na una invest your pesa instead of consuming it. Juu consume, hata ukisema ati tumia pesa hurudi, pesa huwa hairudi the same way ilikuja.
And actually when unasema kujipanga and how to use your money, I was just thinking about COVID. I know when during the COVID pandemic, sasa ilikuwa on its peak, doesn't mean that investment died. The culture was still there. And I'm sure you as an investor, there are many people who faced a lot of hardship during the COVID pandemic.
Losses.
Yes, losing your job. And I think people were able to come up with strategies by force. The situation, the environment just forced us to just change even how we are doing things. So if you're starting an investment, you want to get there, they need to be resilient in the face of adversities. What is this that you can do to help you support your investment? So here there is COVID, money is not coming as it used to. What is this that I'm able to stop doing? Kama nilikuwa naenda out every Saturday and I'm spending a lot of money.
When they want Saturday a month.
Yes, and then one Saturday a month. And like you don't spend that money that you don't have anyway, because you know very well an investment is something that is going to help you sort your future and your children's future. So I think when I'm talking about sacrifice, it takes a lot of resilience and the ability to easily adapt. We as human beings are very flexible human beings created by God. We can adapt to any situation as long as we put our minds into it. So you can come up with coping mechanisms and you're sharp enough. I know you can. It just takes a little bit to be shaken kidogo, and then you'll know what you are able to do. Yes. And then you also use your hope as a motivator. Always use it as a motivator. Unakwanga na hopes for life. Keep at it.
Lakini hivyo ukiwa na hopes, usikuwe na blind hope. Unasema kesho nita travel, sijui niende wapi. the reality of things, maybe hata hauna kitu kwa account.
Basi mtu alituambia kama nitakuendesha gari nitembee na Kia gari. Ama
wewe tembea na hiyo kitu uone gari itakuja.
Kama itakuja. So even as you're keeping your hope alive, I think you'll just be, that is just like going back. Keep your hope alive, let it be your motivator. Usitembee na Kia gari and you're not working towards the car. Your gari itakuja. Usitembee na Kia apartment and you're not working towards it. Let us just keep working towards what we are looking up to. Yeah.
I feel like Bill has covered everything. Everything. Anyway, before we continue, I'd like to say that we still have Savo Parkland selling. Your project imeenda mbio.
Kama ile bei ya jioni. Ni kama ni bei ya jioni.
Kama bei ya jioni, lakini ukiangalia bei si ya jioni. Anyway, you can still start your financial independence journey by taking up a unit there. It's a really, really good location. So we were ready to start your financial independence journey. This is as after umejifanyia self-evaluation. You can get in touch with our fire partner and they will be able to guide you through and how to get started. Kwa sababu this is a movement, but kama unataka kusonga itabidi you get on board. Anza na hiyo unit ya kwanza. And also I believe like there's no right time to start. Because when I talk to a lot of people, they say nangoja for the right time to start. The reality of things is vitu hazitawahi kuwa.
And si tumesema tunaongelea kuhusu faith hapa.
Have faith.
And then
confront the reality of things. If you have kona ya kuanza, start and also plan ahead. Get even you can get in touch to just know more about us as you prepare even for future investing. Even when you have a friend who's interested, usiseme ati jumi sijaanza rafiki yangu asianze. Wacha anze, mtapatana katikati. And also once you bring a friend on board, we usually offer 2% referral discount.
Yes.
Which is really good, na itakusaidia even to even finance for that unit. It actually helps a lot. And also in case already you have other units in other locations,
unaweza
ongeza ingine.
Because the idea is to have more and more units, because we believe through the rent. Ya kwanza ya pili ya tatu you're able to get the amount that you're looking towards passively. So we have various projects in various locations. Tuko na Parklands, we have USAU, we have Roysambo, that is Savo Royal Suburbs, and then we have Feather, tuko na Riruta. All these are diverse locations for you to diversify your investments as well, because it's also something you need to consider when you're doing this investment, diversification, so you can get it from different locations and then you're able to grow yourself.
And also I know the investors wanasema already mimi nisha karibia kuretire. It's never too late. It's generational wealth. You can take up a unit, start investing in it. If you are ready to take up a ready unit, do so. Mwenye anachukua next of kin ataendelea na safari.
I know inauma, like umefanya kazi, umesweat, umetoka, and then you don't taste the fruits. It's still okay. Somebody said a wise man is someone who leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So in as much as you're not able, yes. Najua utajiuliza ni which wise man? Nitakwambia ni God kwa Bible amesema a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So in as much as you're starting this long-term investment and you've struggled, you've gone through COVID, you've gone through being broke, and you've made it. Sometimes you might not be the one who's going to enjoy, but I think it gives a lot of peace to know that the people you're leaving behind are going to actually benefit from your wise decisions that you're making today. So investment is actually a selfless thing. It takes a very selfless mind as well as kujitakia. Ni poa kujitakia, but you also need to be selfless for you to be committed to the process. You can't say, okay, the mortality rate size maybe at 60, so me, I'm going to invest in this that I have right now, enjoy whatever I have right now, and forget about the people who are coming behind you. Because anyway, a good name is better than wealth.
Yeah.
So I'd rather my kids say, my mom built her, ali make sure ametutengenezea njia before tukuje, so that tuendeleze, sindio? Yeah. So it's still an encouragement, even as we are growing through the Stockdale paradox of accepting, okay, mambo ni mabaya, but I'm still hopeful about the future. Do not just think about yourself. Think about just yourself. And then also, I think the Stockdale paradox also challenges us to learn and grow. Learn and grow. Just expose yourself to all the information that you need. Because I think none of us amefika in terms of investment. There's none of us would say amefika kikomo, that now you don't need any more information when it comes to investment. We are always growing, and even as we are growing, let us expose ourselves to diverse information. And then you also save. Don't just consume everything. Save, and I think that's what Stockdale did. He was able to apply the information that he had learned while back in America, in the university. He learned about the Stoicism. So when he was in prison, from his story, he says that whatever he had learned before he went to Vietnam is what carried him through. So whatever you've learned, even before you start your investment journey, whatever knowledge you interact with, I don't think you'll just interact with things for the sake of interacting with. You don't just meet fire partners or meet investment consultants by the mere fact of meeting them. It's usually for you to get to gather knowledge that is going to carry you through the tough times that you go through during the investment.
And also, where you're talking about knowledge, I tend to think about reading your agreements. Ukipa agreement siya kukaa kwa email. Go through your agreement to know what it contains, and then from there you're able even to know easy future things. What if it happen? This is what will happen. So let's read our agreements.
By the way, unajua clause
and get to sign them.
Yes, because actually some of us have questions, and these questions cause a lot of anxiety, but the answers are in the agreement. It is important for you to read your agreement for sale document. It's not just some document full of jargon, but it's full of many answers that can help you to calm some anxiety unaweza kuwa uko nayo. Remember, we want this investment to be something that gives you sleep, but not denying you sleep. Yes.
So, anyway, as we wrap it up, I would like to leave you guys with something that I learned from the book Good to Great. And I quote, "You absolutely cannot make a series of good decisions without first confronting the brutal facts, the reality of things." I think it's something we should think about. Tunapenda vitu zikiwa good, but it's good to actually confront the reality of things.
And also, if just a parting shot, I'm an ardent reader of the Bible, and I'll just give you a short description of the children of Israel. They knew that they're going to get to Canaan, a land full of milk and honey. That was the promise, and that's what they wanted. But that did not stop the Amorites to come and fight them in the wilderness. They went through a lot of difficulty. They went through war, through diseases, through hunger, fighting each other, division. So in as much as the goal is financial independence and getting to that point whereby you and your children are living a comfortable life, it doesn't change the fact that you'll have to win the wars that are here today and the wars that are there tomorrow, but just know that you're going to get there. So let us keep the hope alive and know that we have to win daily. Cindy, yes, it was. I had to apply that.
And also I'd like to thank the guys that joined us today. It was really nice to have you as our audience. And also we'd like to encourage that you can share the link. Of course, when you hawajaweza to join today, they can actually watch the video on YouTube. They can learn a thing or two. Or even when you learn something today, unaweza kaa chini, umwambie, by the way, hii ndo nililearn, let's do this and this. So whatever umesikiza leo, usiende tu umeachilia. Actually use it. Anyway,
I think, bye.
It was nice. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Owning your first apartment in Nairobi has never been easier. It's simple with zero deposit and 0% interest rate. You can pay as little as 30,000 per month for up to 5 years. Just divide the price by the number of months you want to pay. Visit www.savo.ke to learn more.